Hey y'all, so I am a new member over at Patreon, and by clicking my Patreon link below, you can become a patron today and receive new and exclusive content. But all right, y'all, let's jump right into this story. Let's talk about how Virginia is just going off the freaking charts, off the meter. Uh, the level of authority that they are seeking to have should be concerning to anybody. So let's go ahead and take a look at this. So this is according to the Washington Examiner. The law is a law. Virginia Democrats float prosecution and National Guard deployment if police don't enforce gun control. Democratic lawmakers on Capitol Hill say local police do not enforce gun control. Police who do not enforce gun control measures likely to pass in Virginia should face prosecution and even threats of the National Guard. After November's Virginia legislature elections that led to Democrats taking control of both chambers, the gun control legislation proposed by some Democrats moved forward, including universal checks, an assault weapons ban, and a red flag law. Legal firearm owners in the state, however, joined with their sheriffs to form Second Amendment sanctuary counties, which declare the authorities in these municipalities uphold a Second Amendment in the face of any control measure passed by Richmond. Over 75 counties in Virginia have so far adopted such Second Amendment sanctuary resolutions in the Commonwealth, the latest being Spotsylvania County. The Board of Supervisors voted unanimously to approve a resolution declaring that county police will not enforce state-level gun laws that violate Second Amendment rights. Virginia Democratic officials, however, already say local law enforcement supporting these resolutions will face consequences if they do not carry out any law the state legislature passes. Any law. Democratic Virginia Representative Donald McKeechan suggested cutting off state funds to counties that do not comply with any control measures that pass in Richmond. So that's what they do. That's what they do. That's the first line of duty. When you don't comply, cut off the money supply. I got a little rhyme right there. But that's what they do. That's what they do. They snatch the money. They snatch the funds. They hold it over your head to get you to do whatever they want and comply. This is the same thing they've done to the churches with the freedom of speech and this and the other. Churches are not as active and as, like, y'all know how churches used to be. It's not like that anymore. And so that's the same type of thing. They would threaten them with, we'll take your tax exemption or whatever the case may be. But basically, so Virginia is getting ready to pass all of these unconstitutional gun laws, including red flag laws. I'll talk to y'all about why they're so detrimental and a terrible, terrible, just terrible legislation. And I'll talk a little bit more about that as well. But, they're pushing these laws that are unconstitutional, and the police department got with the sheriff and they were like, look, like, we not rocking with it. We're not having it. We're not imposing these laws. They even came up with they formed these Second Amendment sanctuary resolutions in these different counties and voted unanimously. Okay. And the lawmakers was like, we don't give a crap. We're not hearing that. Not only will you lose your job, but we will send a National Guard. So they are literally threatening them with the National Guard to enforce these unconstitutional laws. And I've talked about this before, whether people want to admit it or not. All of these laws, these gun laws, is going to hit first the poor communities, urban communities. That's what it's going to be. Is it going to affect people across the board? Of course, right? But that's who it's going to affect the worst and the fastest. With these red flag laws, it literally gives the police that people already say are more harsh. We talk about all the police brutality that goes on in Black communities. We talk about how some of these laws, are unfairly applied when it comes to Black communities and poor communities and things like this. Now, these red flag laws literally give them permission to run up in your spot and take your guns. Not literally, but they don't have to go through much of a due process to be like, this dude, I was patrolling the neighborhood. He's not trustworthy. He was up to this activity. Let's take his guns. That's literally what it is. And if the judge is like, oh yeah, cool, let's take his guns, it's just, they've made it just that simple. So it would be hypocritical to believe that there are biases in other areas where the law isn't applied fairly, or just say people aren't treated the same, right? And I think this would also be the case. Okay, I was literally just in Walmart this weekend, and I was looking for ammo. And the cashier, she was like, oh yeah, we're selling out, and we're not restocking them because we're not carrying the ammo anymore for handguns and pistols. And I was like, oh, like y'all were like serious about that, like y'all were serious. And so it got me to thinking, and I was like, wow. I was like, so it's just screw people in the rural areas, screw people in the urban areas that mostly have access to stores like Walmart, who have to drive further to sporting goods stores, gun stores, this, that, and the other. I'm like, this directly impacts this community first and the hardest. So, like, don't think any of this is going to be different. So to actually see the police coming together, standing against this, I'm shocked. Well, I'm kind of shocked, but I'm kind of not. But we're really going to know when the rubber meets the road, because when they're threatening to take your livelihood, when they're threatening to send a National Guard after you, that's when it really gets real. And it's really getting real out here. And for all the people that's always like, oh, that'll never happen here. Look at China, look at Venezuela, blah, 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 blah. All that stuff y'all see is happening. It's already happening. It's literally happening. You have Virginia policymakers threatening the National Guard on people that are there to uphold the Constitution. Like this is wild. Like this is like wild. This is crazy. So I don't know, but we'll see what happens. I will keep an eye on it. But I'm like, y'all, it's happening. Like, it's already happening. And I really just want to see how people in Virginia are really going to respond to this, how they're going to band together and resolve this. So we'll see going forward. But those are my thoughts. Leave your thoughts below. Don't forget to subscribe. Bye.